What is going on, all you beautiful people? I know you're well. It's Tim Sheaf here. We feeling truth out here. Quick name change, how we had to do. Last week, a few days ago, I had the absolute pleasure of being invited by Brian Rose of London Real to a premiere of a documentary they made on Ido Portal. Now, some of you might know my views on Ido Portal. I have much admiration for this guy and what he knows about movement and does for movement and what he's done for sports in general, what he's done for martial arts, people like Conor McGregor. Despite his beliefs on veganism, my ego can see past that, and that doesn't bother me. And I know that the only way for him to come round, and I think he is coming round, is through love, man, and not hating on the guy like some of the vegan community have done in the past. But I feel like that's going away, and it takes different characters in the world. It takes different characters for us to find our nature. We've lost a lot of knowledge, hidden knowledge, on what it is to be human, how to feel human, and I think Ido plays a massive role, almost equally important to veganism, in finding that. And so I was invited to this premiere and I wanted to go watch it. I wasn't going to watch it, and then I happened to be in London at the time. Just synchronistically, I happened to find myself at all these things. I don't know how I do it. I went to the Carnage premiere, I happened to be around and invited to that one, and a few other things like that. Well, I do know how I do it. I just get out my own way. And I just find myself in a flow state, and I end up being invited to these things at the right synchronistic times. Like the BBC interview, I wasn't even meant to be in London, and I happened to be in London, and it was in London at the right time. And then that night I went to the Ido Portal premiere, and it's an incredible documentary. Opened my eyes even more, to really gave me a deeper understanding of who this guy is and the knowledge and wisdom that he has. And it was phenomenal. So I hope you watch that once that comes out on London Real at some point. Look out for that. I'll probably do a post about it at the time, because it really was power. I can't wait to watch it again and take some more knowledge from him. But at the end of it, he was there. I got to meet the guy. He did like an hour Q&A on stage with Brian Rose, and I filmed a couple snippets here. He talked quite a bit about Conor McGregor, as people were asking him about that, and he even mentioned parkour as well. So here's a couple clips of Ido Portal talking about Conor McGregor and parkour. That's all for now. He's a deep guy. Love this man. Check it out.
Have you ever seen, when was the last time you saw someone, for example, just flailing arms around, going like a windmill in a boxing match? That can turn out very badly. Right? But also, what happens when that chaos hits? When in my own field and fields, I know that sometimes even a raw beginner is very difficult to handle, and it's its own thing. Some fighters are really bad at handling aggressive beginners. I've seen it many times. Conor is not a beginner, but he comes from a different world and he has a different way of doing things, and he can turn around, he can do all kinds of things. The timing is a bit off, it's a little bit awkward, and I think that's totally new. On the other hand, Floyd is a master, and he's been dealing with a lot of experts, but all these experts have similar things in them. They are all boxers as well, so I don't think there is anything really known. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a very difficult task that Conor took upon himself. That makes me respect him even more. He goes again back into it. There is nothing known. There is a lot to lose. People think there is nothing to lose. You don't know what you're talking about. You never were in a fight, probably. Of course, there is a lot to lose. Every loss is extremely problematic. Every loss, I've seen it from close. It's not a loss in a tennis match. It's much more severe, emotionally draining, problematic. Very few people can shrug off a loss.
Yeah, I've known fighters, and they will remember the details of the loss to that day, and you don't want to bring it up, even the ones that are most well-rounded and most stoic.
For sure. Evolve into another status. So these are my personal opinions that is often misunderstood because I'm some prophet or some other wanker entitled. So in that sense, as a person, I have my favorites and I love parkour, especially kind of the early generation that started the phenomenon, and how they, with what kind of philosophical tools they practiced, how the relationship with fear, which taught me a lot. It kind of gave me the terminology to talk about it, and I always felt it, but I wasn't really confronted with it like we did in Israel together. And I appreciate many things in there. Are there shitty things about? Of course. The process is poor, and breakdancing is another poor process, poor instruction, poor understanding of many things. But there is also some beautiful things, and I try to learn from it, the good and the bad. I try to bring it into another culture, which practices around another idea. A lot of similarities and some differences as well.
Thank you for that. We'll take two more questions. Any